We don't want people to have to type in all the names in exactly the right format for this thing to actually add it as an array. In fact, there's just no way. We're not going to get it added as an array this way. So this field probably needs to be some sort of thing that actually knows who the users are, right? So we should probably store our list of users in an array somewhere that we can get to it. How's that sound? That sounds terrific, Davey. I can't believe I didn't think of it myself. Where should this go? List of all users. Main? Any reason why not? When do we want it? When do we want to add somebody to it? As soon as they log in, right? So probably on handle auth, which is an app. Component did mount here. That could work. Might save us a little bit of trouble. Trouble's fun. Let's do it in an app. Let's try that. We can move it later if we want to, but I want you to see what we ran into this morning. Albeit, I want it to get fixed a lot faster. All right, so let's do that. Let's have, here's state user. Let's have state users start out as an empty object. And then when we handle auth, first we build the user object. Update state and local storage. So how about we also update the list of users. So let's say const users equals a copy of this dot state dot users, right? Then how about we say users square bracket user dot uid equals user. And then when we set state, we'll update both user and users. Get the idea? So now, let's have a look at app. I've got this .state.user, that's me. I got this .state.users, which is an object that has me in it with a key of my UID. You dig? So we just need to sync that with Firebase. So we'll start syncing that when the component mounts. Here's component did mount. The other thing we're doing when component did mount is we're starting to listen for the auth state to change. But even before that, we can just do a base sync state. Base, we haven't imported. We're importing auth from base, but we're not importing base itself. So base, comma, auth, just like we do this, right? We have our default import and our named import. Import base and auth from base. So base.sync state. We'll have an endpoint called users. We will pass in our options. Context is this again. And state is the endpoint in state, or the property of state that we want to sync with, which is users. Okay, how about that? Let's go look. I have users now, and there I am. Yeah. So let's look in app. There we go. All right, let's sign in and sign out and sign in as a different me. My goodness. Who am I anyway? I am daviddavestruce.com right now. So let's sign out. Let's sign in as a different me.
Does it need to pair that with their user name?
We don't have usernames. We have display names.
Sorry, display names.
So do we have to what?
If you want to put something in that member field, you're not just going to paste in a UID.
Well, this is the entire object that we're storing here.
Oh, so this.
So we're just making sure we have a list of users that we can pull from. Yeah.
I just saw that.
I got you. All right, let's sign in as Gmail me. Look out here. There we go. I've got 2 of them now. Let's look in state. Here we go. Users. Wait a minute. What? I've only got the other one. What the crap is going on in this town? What if we had another one? Okay, fretless me isn't in there yet. I still only have 1 here. But I have 3 here. What? This is very weird. So it seems to be syncing state, because when it happens locally, it gets added in Firebase, but then it doesn't stick around locally. But I'm syncing state. And like I log out and back in as a different me, and it still gets added to Firebase. So it's not like sync state isn't working at all. What? So, if we wanted to simulate the morning class, we could spend the next 45 minutes troubleshooting this. Or we could skip to the answer. Well, I mean, while it is valuable, I think, to see an experienced person troubleshoot, the truth is when I finally figured it out, it was just like, oh, I bet. Yeah. So we ruled out lots and lots of stuff by doing tons of troubleshooting. Ultimately, here's the issue. When we first load the page, until handle auth has happened, we're not yet signed in, right? And right now, our Firebase rules require that you're logged in order to read anything from the Firebase database, right? You have to be signed in or sync state isn't going to do anything. Now, it's weird to me that this is how that presents itself. This is a weird symptom for that problem, but that is the problem. The problem is when the page first loads, we're not allowed to read from that endpoint in the database because we're not allowed to read from any endpoint in the database. So it is a database permissions issue. If we had put it in main, we wouldn't have this issue because you can never get to main without being signed in. So that would have prevented this. So what we could do is just make the list of users public in the database. So let's go to the docs. Let's go to the guides for, so this is for the database. And where are the rules? Configure database rules. Okay, so this is about how to do it like programmatically. But if we check on this one, configure your rules for public access, it'll take us to these examples. Okay, so that's under security rules in the user guide for future reference. So right now we have default, which is you can only read and write if you're logged in, if auth not equal null. To make something public, you just say read is true, write is true. Or you could have certain endpoints that are different from others. So we could specify rules per endpoint. So what if we did this? For the user's endpoint, we have one set of rules. For everything else, it's this. So you have to be logged in to read or write any of this stuff. But for users, we'll say anyone can read the list of users. So .read, the string true. That's probably not something you want to do. This is not how you want to fix this problem. So write will still say auth not equal null. The fact is anyone can sign up for an account here. So yeah. But this makes it way too easy for someone to just pull it out. So let's see if this does in fact solve the problem. So now anyone can read from it, but you can't write to it unless you're signed in. Let's refresh the page now. Oh, by the way, it was always fine once you refreshed. Let's get rid of all my users just to test this. All right, sign out. Let's sign in. As Gmail me. Let's check app. List of users, just me. Let's sign out. Sign in with a different me. And state updated. Sign out. Sign in. But yeah, if someone actually bothers to look in the DevTools, they could see the whole list of users without even signing into the app. Bit of a privacy issue. The fact that logged in users can see who all the logged in users are, that's not really an issue. That you can do that in Slack, right? It shows you all the logged in users, or all the users who aren't even logged in. So that's less of a concern. So yeah, main would probably be a better place for this, but we'll start here. All right, cool. So store a list of users in state. Here then are my new database rules.